Push the microphone so it's green and make sure you announce yourself to the people who are watching on video.
Oh, yes.
You can tilt it so you can bring it up to your mouth, whatever.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for the work that you do here for education. It's a very, very important thing that you do here. And I, as you know, have served on the education committee since 2009 because I believe it's very, very important. And we have been able to do some great.
So thank you, Joe and crew. of making sure we stay on the path. Committee for the super. We'd like to hear from students. people to um,
voted on by this board and is in existence, but a component of the policy is a 3-year review. And it requires a district wellness committee. So currently, Eric, who might be in the chat there, and Kaylee Marler. Kaylee Marler will be heading our district wellness committee. She's seeking staff representation. And in the future, the board will be hearing about this. So we wanted to also just put this on your radar, but this is currently a policy. So if Kaylee Marler happens to be chatting, but she got sound also, she can hear that we've just acknowledged she'll be the head of the committee, and she's working on gathering reports. So we just wanted to make you aware of that, but it's really not a discussion item yet, because we don't really form a presentation at this time.
Does anybody have any questions about anything that Neil reported on?
Thank you. Kaylee Marler is our nursing supervisor, and so she makes an excellent candidate to deal with district wellness. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
I apologize to all the people online. We were having some technical difficulties and weren't ignoring you. They were rushing around to try to rectify it, and we'll make sure that we try next meeting to start off with sound for everybody who's joining us online. I know we have one board member joining us online. I'm glad to see her here with us, Hilda. And sorry you couldn't hear at the beginning of the meeting. I can fill you in afterwards.
Thank you.
So now we're on to committee reports, and I'm going to hand it over to the chair of the Ad Hoc Elementary School Consolidation Construction Committee.
We had a meeting last night. All the board has a packet of all the information that was discussed. The important thing I think in the packet, right now for the board consideration, is the timeline of our community conversations and our SAS conversations. I believe the chairman is going to discuss making sure that we get 1 or 2 board members to be present at each of the, not necessarily all of them, but at each of the presentations, so that we can be united in our support and also hear what the citizens and the staff have to say. You also have a copy of the materials that we handed out. This all kicks off with Neil as one of the kings, giving out benefits of the 3 Kings Day, so that all the children will have a booklet that helps start to explain this, and we'll have a table there for the parents. And then you have just as with the superintendent's search, we also give you a list of the various meetings that will be held for community conversation. So we'll be talking at the Windham Community Center, Senior Center. We'll be at the Windham High School auditorium during our teacher conference, and we'll be back again at the Windham Community Center in February 20th. So we'll have a number of occasions for the public to hear what we're doing and to voice their questions. Also, as a sample of the survey that is going to be sent out. That's a specific question, but then you want to talk about the
explaining the why we need to do reconciliation, and also helping us reading about the beautiful perfect school that will benefit and be equitable for all our elementary school students.
And we should point out, as with the superintendent search, Kadena was very helpful in getting these materials translated into Spanish for us as well.
Right, and we're going to be posting all this information so people can see, like, if you want to be part of community conversation #1, which is on Wednesday, January 15th, between 4 and 6 p.m. at the Windham Community Senior Center. You know, when the other community conversations are happening again on February 13th and February 20th. So there are 4 community conversations scheduled. We are meeting with the teachers in the elementary schools first. And those meetings are happening, next Monday, February 13th. January 13th. Why did I say February? January 13th. I would like it if all the board members could stay after at the end of this meeting and just, we don't need to do it in the meeting, but share with me when you might, which of these meetings you might be able to attend. So we can have a good representation of board members, as Mark said, at all the meetings, because it's really hard to convey what people said in a meeting. Well, it's better to be there and hear and have them hear from us too. We really want the community to start dreaming with us about what a consolidated elementary school could be like in our district, how it would work, the things we need to be considering as we move forward.
And this material will be posted on our website, so you call Neil. We have a special tab just for the consolidation that Beth is working on.
I actually believe some of it is, I don't know, all of it's up. Yeah, it was in the process of getting posted as of today.
So a lot to look at,
Yeah.
right? So people should check out the website. You will be sending information out to the community, the normal ways that we communicate with parents and teachers and staff. And we will also need to deal with the local media and social media platforms too, to make sure that we're posting in the right places so people can get a sense of how they can get involved, and maybe we can get on some radio shows and things like that to try to promote these both the superintendent search and the elementary school consolidation conversations.
They have to have a radio show.
Twice.
Weekly on Thursday, 4 o'clock.
To suggest that all of us share these timelines in our social media platforms so that we can make everybody aware from our friends and families and communities. So this last these notifications. Thank you.
And if you're like me, who doesn't do much on social media, you could still share it the old fashioned way, when you go to a meeting or a church coffee hour or things like that to let folks know about it.
Perhaps you could schedule a tea at the house. Well, come over. Tea and spoons. You want to add the finance and audit committee report?
Yes. We didn't have it on here.
It was a special meeting, so we originally didn't have it. We set this in January, sorry.
So I would entertain a motion to add item B under committee reports to have a finance, and audit committee report.
So moved.
Motion made by Katina, seconded by Ilda. Do I hear any discussion on that? All those in favor of adding finance and audit onto the committee reports, please indicate by raising your hand. Ilda's on the screen, she raised her hand, just so you know. Well, hold on a second. Before we do the finance and audit committee report, can we introduce a new staff that everybody should know?
I apologize, I did not include in my superintendent's report that Lauren LaBelle is joining us as the executive assistant for the superintendent's office and the Board of Education. And she's hit the ground running. She is here at her first board of Education meeting on day 3. And I'm very, very, very appreciative that she is here with us, and she's been wonderful, and I look forward to working with her.
Welcome, Lauren. We'll be seeing a lot of you. Okay, now we can go on to finance and audit. Mark, you're on again.
Okay. Well, we had a special meeting of the finance audit. First item on the agenda was the discussion of the $536,000 shortfall in the Alliance grant, because the state reduced our allocation after the budget was approved. We'll be meeting with the Board of Finance next Wednesday. This is one of the items. The administration is working on a paragraph, or actually a memo, not a paragraph, a memo explaining the shortfall and not being caused by the board. The problems this will cause us budget-wise because of having to move salaries and requesting the board, the town, either give us assistance or at least be aware and acknowledge that we will most likely end up in a deficit position unless there's something done to cover this $500,000. So that's going to be worked on, and the board will receive a copy of it hopefully by Friday, and then we'll get it on to the Board of Finance so that we can discuss it at their Wednesday. We have then discussed the issue of the private health insurance, which is the state partnership, and the steps we're making to continue to move forward in making that exchange. The recommendation from the committee to the board is that we begin the process of developing an RFP to possibly find a broker that is experienced with the state plan. So we're just asking them to begin the process. The RFP has to be developed. Rita has to do a number of checks with other members of the state plan and other school districts to come up with what we think would be a good RFP. We discussed the lease for the Phoenix program. Currently, as you're all aware, we're leasing the facility for the Phoenix Academy program out of North Windham. There was some discussion about possibly moving that to the Windham Center Schools. But everything that's going on and all the changes that are going on, the administration is recommending that we renew the lease for at least 1 year and maintain the program at its present location. Then look 2 years or 1 or 2 years down the line as to our options as to whether we maintain that program in its current location or remove it. So again, the recommendation of the committee is to we extend that lease for 1 more year. We have, I guess, an option of 2 years, but the discussion was at this point, what we do it for 1. We also discussed the summer school program. In the past couple of years, we were fortunate enough, as I think Neil pointed out in our report we got for the Alliance, the ARPA money, that we were able to fund a robust summer school program the last couple of years because of this money, but we won't have this grant obviously anymore. For instance, last year's summer school program had an expense of about $400,000, of which half of that was for transportation. So it'll become an important part of our budget discussion, if not even separate from the budget discussion, as to what we do, how extensive we want summer school programs to be, how beneficial they are to the system, and what happens if we have to cut back on them, or how we can afford to maintain that space. So we'll look forward to more detail from administration as to the scope of the summer school program. So that's it. Then we have the recommendation for the RFP start and the recommendation for the 1 year extension.
Thank you, Mark. And to be clear, so those recommendations that we made about going out with an RFP for a broker, health insurance broker, and to extend the Phoenix Academy lease, and to figure out the pros and cons of and the viability of continuing vibrant summer school programs will all be discussed at future board meetings, and the full board will get recommendations, proposal to vote on, lease to vote on, and we'll have a full discussion of the summer school. So stay tuned, that will be happening soon. Anything else under reports or anything else? Anybody have any questions, comments? Thank you, Keith. I want to thank Mark for chairing 2 committees. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's a lot of work. So under discussion items, we only have one item tonight, the Windham Public School calendar. I'll hand it over to you, Neil.
Thank you. So, this is actually a task as assistant superintendent I've done for the last several years. This year, I tasked that work to one of my interim assistant superintendents, Beth Renee. So in front of you is a proposed calendar. I just want to make the board aware, because we were trying to make sure we got the board packet to everyone at the end of day Friday, like we normally do. That at that time, shortly after that, we did receive some feedback from several of our bargaining units, which we are very appreciative of. And we're having some conversations around them, which actually, a lot of it doesn't directly impact this calendar document in front of you. But there's just a couple we wanted to make sure you were aware of, and that we were going to recommend to put some changes in effect in addition to this calendar. One of them was from Windham High School and Windham Phoenix Academy. They wanted their parent-teacher conferences to fall on Thursday and Fridays in the fall, which would just be a shift of one day. We feel that isn't going to impact the calendar in any meaningful way. I think that's a reasonable ask. And so we can adjust it for the next time. And then they also asked that in the spring, however, their conferences fall on a Wednesday, Thursday, and the next day is actually Good Friday, which we have off. So in essence, they already kind of have a Thursday, Friday effect. So we just wanted to, that was one thing. And then we are not marking this on the calendar, but we would like to execute to do this. We did this year when the Windham Early Childhood Center opened. The staff made it, the administration and staff made a request to have a staggered opening on the first day of schools, where they had an early release for students, but a full day for staff. Everyone worked the same as everybody else, but they used it for parent meetings for their new students. They did this initially because it was the grand opening of the new site, but they found it to be very effective. And we think this is a reasonable ask. We wouldn't necessarily note it on this calendar and confuse the other 8 sites about the early release, because we think that everyone to know it's a full day for everybody else. But this year we didn't note it on the calendar, and the ECC was they were able to effectively communicate this. So we feel comfortable with that. So those are just 2 little differences that aren't on this calendar, but we feel that this calendar is a reasonable request. The only thing we do want to make sure everybody knows, because this is always bumpy, because as you can see, the last day of the year is already June 15th. We proposed January 2nd being off, since that is a Friday. We know historically that will be an extremely low attendance day. However, just the way it fell, that the next day we come back is the 5th, and then we have the 6th off for Three Kings Day. But if we pushed out our calendar all the way to June 16th, if you have 2 snow days with Juneteenth on June 19th, you're then already in the 4th week of June. So we made the recommendation to ask for the 2nd off, but not the 5th. I just wanted to explain that rationale why we made that recommendation.
You're not asking for action on this tonight. It's not on the agenda for action.
This is historically, we do a first viewing of this, and then at the next meeting is a vote, correct?
Does anybody have any comments, Mark?
Well, normally I would be in favor of bringing the kids back and extending the rationale for it, but I guess looking at the calendar, it makes no sense to me to bring them back on the 5th of January and then let them go back out again on the 6th. I question the attendance that we could possibly look at if the families have already been on vacation with that. We could just, personally, I question the effectiveness of having that day, not making it some other point in the calendar. I'm just concerned that doesn't give us more problems than not.
So essentially, it's a this or that. So we actually agree with you. I think January 5th will be problematic for attendance. There's no doubt, like historically when we've had that, it's just then the real answer is, do we add the date to be June 16th? We just risk going into the 4th week of June. That is all. Unless we did something like start an entire week earlier in August. Because ultimately 180 school days will be 180 school days, however you go. So that's why we did it, but if the board has discussion tonight or in the next board meeting and ultimately decides to have the 5th off, my recommendation would be at that date of June 16th. Thank you, that's a very, very fair point.
Anybody else? Have any comments?
It's Ilda here. I agree with Mark. I think they should have the 5th off. I don't see why, well, I guess we have to do 180 days. So maybe take it from somewhere else.
Well, Neil was suggesting that if we do it, if we put the 5th in, we just extend the last school day would be the 16th of June. So.
I agree with that.
it's going to be 180 days.
I agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilda. Anybody else have any comments on the calendar? Paula?
Yeah, I see that 5th being problematic for attendance and even for having anything other than maybe a movie day and trying to get kids on task. But I definitely would rather see it at the end of the school year rather than putting kids back in earlier in the summer.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Doesn't have to be on that point. It could be on something else related to the calendar. Okay. So we've heard several board members say they think we should consider not having school on the 5th. But if anybody else has any thoughts, they can wait. Yeah. Katina.
Is there any way to rotate on these days? Is a day so that you know half of to visas? No.
You know, I have to think about it. I have to think about what you're saying.
Anything else on the calendar? So ostensibly, if people have any input, they can certainly reach out to Neil before our next meeting, but we would be taking action on it at the next January meeting, 2 weeks from today.
If we come up with some recommendations, what we can do in the next packet, I can alert the board. Here's some alternative suggestions.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So folks should be prepared for the next meeting. Vote on it. Okay, thank you. So, now we're on to action items. Budget transfers. We don't have any budget transfers.
Yeah, we took the step of last time when we didn't have the meeting, we decided to just keep it on just in case for the next couple of meetings, knowing that if we do need a transfer, it will be timely.
Okay.
So, thank you.
We may have to have one before February, but you'll let us know. Okay. Now there are a couple of proposals that are in our packets. I would entertain a motion to vote to accept the Every Child Art Experience Grant Award. Motion made by Katina, seconded by Mark. You tried to be in the seat.
Be quick, like Jeopardy, you gotta press that button.
Any discussion? It's great. Right, so, all those in favor of voting to accept the Every Child Art Experience Grant Award, please indicate by raising your hand. I see Ilda raised her hand. Thank you, Ilda. Thank you, team. It was unanimous, right? Okay. And then, I would entertain a motion to approve a field trip, Windham High School trip to New York City on the 28th of May, 2025. Motion made by Brendan. Seconded by Alicia. Any further discussion on that? Oh, maybe you could go as a chaperone. Who knows? Any further discussion? Yes, Katrina.
Just would love to know how students would like to go, but do not have the $300 are going to be supported. But that's not going to interfere with my vote. It's just comment so that it's considered. And how could we get funds for them? Thank you.
You want to say anything?
I can investigate and get back to you. I think that's the third one.
Page 13 has information about fundraising.
Fundraising activities, Ministry of Donuts and MCM Butter Braids.
Absolutely delicious.
Folks could also donate money to provide scholarships for students if they wanted to. DNEC?
we can also promote it at Winnie Radio. We can promote that type of, fundraising for the students at Winnie Radio if it's something that.
If you have some thoughts on that, DNEC, you should talk to Neil. Okay? Okay, any further discussion on that motion? All those in favor of approving this field trip, please indicate by raising your hand. Unanimous, Hilda's online. Just trying to help you out a little more on your first day. Anything else? No, any public comment? Last item on the agenda. Okay, I don't see any hands raised online. I don't see anybody in the auditorium who wants to speak during public comment. I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:49. Meeting adjourned, and board members, please stick around so we can see who's going to what upcoming events. Thanks.